What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is my recap for the Deuce episode 5. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you get updates on all my videos. Also, follow me on Facebook at J Moore Reviews. Also, hit me up at Instagram at J Moore Reviews and support me at patreon.com/J Moore Reviews. Now, let's get into it. As we last left off, it was a lot going on in the Deuce, and Darlene got a bus ticket to go back home from Abby. So we catch up in this season in episode 5, and Darlene is at home and she's having dinner or lunch with her friends, and she sees Roger, who used to be one of her old little boo things. And he's happy to see her, and he's saying, "Hey, you look all good, all changed up. How you doing?" And she's saying she doing good and everything, and they all smiles and all of that. And her friends is asking, "Well, what happened? Why y'all leave?" And she like, "Well, I had to do big things. I got a boyfriend now. I got a man, and he got money. Look what he buying me." And she's showing her little bracelet. She talking about, "Why don't y'all come back with me? I'm a model in New York City." And right when she said that, the waitress heard her, and that waitress is actually Tyreek's girlfriend from Power. And so she's saying, "Y'all need to come back and come make money like me. And y'all, what you think? Y'all gonna come?" And they like, "Well, I don't know. I heard in New York City you gotta sleep with all the producers and do whatever they want." And she say, "Well, I do what I want when I want." And they say, she get up and leave. They say, "Where you going?" She say, "Out back for a minute." And so she go out back, and she thinking, because right about now it looked like ain't none of her friends going. But while she there, Tyreek girlfriend come out and say, "You in New York City as a model?" She say, "Yep." And so right then she know old girl want to go with her. So then we fast forward to inside the city, and we see that Candy is back to doing hard work, or rather somebody is doing hard work on her and having a good time. And so soon as it's done, she hops up and putting her stuff on, because it's time to punch that clock with somebody else. And she telling Soldier Boy up and at him, time to get up out of there. And also we see back at the bar that Frankie and his brother-in-law is trying to convince Vinny to go into business with the mob again, into this new venture, and Rudy Pipolo. And he's saying no, he don't think so. Meanwhile, we see Angela Davis, and she's talking to her boss about doing this story about the pimps and hoes. And he's saying, "Look, that ain't the story we trying to portray. That ain't our style." And she's saying, "Well, why don't you let me try to do a longer story and try to do it a little different?" And she get batted them little eyes and pretty much got her way. We walk in and we see in the bar these two girls was trying to plot about how much money to keep from they little Johns. And we see Abby, and she's talking to Vinny about everything that's going on, and what she was expecting somebody. And so then this guy pops up asking, "Where's Abby?" And so Vinny is saying, "So is that it?" She's saying, "Well, that's him." And so Vinny getting a lightweight jealous, and Abby all smiles with this fake ass G.I. Joe refugee. And so he brings her camera. So she takes the camera, gives it to Vinny, asks him to keep it. And so he puts it behind the bar, and he's wondering what's up with that. And he asks the gay dude, the bartender, "Is that dude worth a damn?" He say he ain't nothing special. Meanwhile, we see Candy back at work again, but this time she's with her porn star boyfriend. And after they was done, he asked if she came or whatever and got to where she was going. And she said no, she tried to hop back on that baloney pony and take another ride, but he was saying he wasn't ready yet. So she just went on ahead and had a little knuckle shuffle real quick and made sure she got to where she was going. Then she was all smiles then. Meanwhile, back on the host stroll, we see Larry, and he's over here pissed. Look at them lips. He mad, about to snap, blow this girl away with them lips right there. And he's telling her if she tired, she needs to work overtime so she can have a whole snow day. And meanwhile, the other chick, Skeletor, comes with $400 and made her look stupid. And he's saying, "See, that's what you need to do. If you bring in money like that, then you can take a day off." And so, meanwhile, he's telling her, because she's saying, well, please, Larry, I'm tired. He say, well, if you're tired, learn to walk on your feet hurt. Learn to walk on your hands. And he was pretty cold with that. And then he got in the car with Skeletor and pulled off. Meanwhile, Candy has just got through doing the dude with her porn star mustache boyfriend, and they sitting having pillow talk, and he's trying to tell her, why don't you come and just dinner at my boss's house, and we can have a little get together. And she trying to delay, and him and Han and whatever the case, and he's trying to say, well, hey, since you got to go so quick or whatever, and then, let me know later. In the meantime, here's some money to catch a cab. And she didn't really want to take it. She was reluctant at first, because in her mind, he'd be just like all the rest of the Johns, just paying her for sex. But in the end, she took the money, and she couldn't help it, I guess. She couldn't resist that dollar. And Abby, she's at the college with her friends hanging out. She thought that's probably what was best for her, I guess, to get away from the bar for a while. Meanwhile, back at the bar, Vinny is over here talking to the brother-in-law and the gay bartender about what it's like, who gets the most action between gays, lesbians, and straights. And then he's saying the gays, it's always dick all the time. And of course, the bartender laughed, thought that was entertaining. Vinny then talks to Rudy Piccolo's little underling and telling him that he thought about it a lot and he don't think that's the right move. He don't think he the man for the job. And he's telling him no, he didn't want to do it. And Vinny and the brother-in-law looking at him because they kind of pissed because they wanted to do it. And he's saying, what, is it a problem? I can't say no to Rudy Piccolo or something? Am I in trouble? And he started laughing, saying, no, that ain't the case. He's just a little disappointed, that's all. But he said, I'm doing all I can to make this place work. He said that he'll hear that, he'll appreciate it. And so then back at the school, Abby, she wasn't feeling the vibe. I guess she growing up too fast out in the bar, and so she's walking off leaving. But then Soldier Boy, he come and track her down like a Vietnam vet at the damn elevator and try to give her a hug, and she just give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek goodbye. Meanwhile, the brother-in-law, he's sitting at home and he's in deep concentration, even though the kids is giving him hell, running up and down and all around the place in the house. And he's thinking real hard about some stuff that's going on, pretty much. We don't know what he's talking about yet. And also, we see Larry, and now he's looking at the new recruit. And so he's giving her the inspection and checking her out. And he don't like her pretty much because she's young. He asking how old is she, and she 20. Said 20 going on 14. He think she gonna end up getting him locked up. And he don't like what he see, and he tell Darlene to get rid of her and send her back home. And so while he leaves off, old girl say, I ain't going back home. I'm up here. I'm staying. And so Darlene and her walk away with Darlene little booty cheeks hanging out her shorts. Meanwhile, we see the gay bartender, and he went to go see a movie, and in the movie he beating his meat, slapping the salami, and then he see this little dude over here in the side looking like a Republican, and this Republican walk on over, and he ask him, hey, do you need some company? You want some company? And he look at him, and then he move his arm over. He looking like a half-ass Democrat. And then the Republican kind of go down and slob on Bob. I guess that's one way the Republicans and Democrats could come together. So now we see the girls at the diner having a little dinner or whatever, or lunch, and they talking about their opportunities and what it's like, and does she really even do any real modeling or what? And so now she getting ready to stay up here no matter what. And so we see Baloney Tony coming up out of there, and he's feeling all nice and refreshed like he just vetoed Obamacare. And then next thing you know, the cops book him. That cop on the left, that's actually the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio. He's in this show, and he's booking them and taking them, and they throw him in the back of the paddy wagon and send him to the slammer. Meanwhile, back at the bar, Vinny's pouring a drink, and then the brother-in-law come and tell him, hey man, why don't you let me run the house, you run the money, and that way we can do it. He's saying, man, you don't even like working with these dudes. He say, man, they told me I'm gonna have a stroke out in about a year if I keep working at the construction site, so they agree to do it. Meanwhile, Larry is talking to Rodney, and he's telling him about old girl, and Rodney is saying, hey man, if you want, I can take her off your hands. He say, no, you can buy her. And he's saying, well, look, I'll give you 2 G's if she tight, and the player down the way. He like, no, keep the player and give me 2.5. And so he say, all right, cool. Meanwhile, we see Vinny, and he's talking on the phone, and he's seeing what's going on with everything. And then you see Abby in the background taking pictures of people behind the bar, and everybody wondering what the hell he's doing. And when Vinny find out that his bartender's on the phone and he's been locked up, he tells Big Bruh man from fifth floor to go get him. And so he gives him some money out the register and sends him to go get him. Meanwhile, Abby is still taking pictures, and she take a picture of Reggie Love, and he say, "Did I say you can take that picture?" And so she's saying, "No, I just took it anyway." And so she take it again, and so then they start having a little back and forth or whatever, and he's saying, pretty much who you think you are, and this and that. And so say your job is to be making me a drink. And so after she make the drink, she take it and pour it out. And so now he going back and forth with a little smart talk, arguing about sexism and who she thinks she is, and she's saying, "You ain't welcome here no more. I ain't serving you no more." And so now Vinny trying to squash all of this, and as he walking away, she taking pictures again, which is wrong. She could have got smacked. That's what he was telling her. "You better get her before I do." And so she pretty much causing problems, and Vinny look at her like, "What the hell are you doing? What's your problem?" Meanwhile, we see Candy, and she got a little John right there standing there checking her out, and she's saying, "So what's your deal? You like to watch?" And so she started playing with herself in front of him, trying to turn him on or whatever. And he smacked the hell out of her real fast, smacked fire out of her head. And he tell her, "Give her the money. Give me your money. I don't want none of that. Give me your money." And so he starts trying to strangle her a little bit or whatever. And so she starts screaming, "Okay, okay, just don't hurt me. Just don't hurt me." And this dude looked scary, like he was about to kill her ass. And so after he was putting them hands around her neck and choking her, he let her go. And so she's saying, "Okay, I'll give you the money, just don't hurt me." And so she goes over to the dresser and pulls out some mace, and then she sprays the hell out of him with the mace. He falls on the floor. She starts kicking him with her bitch kickers or whatever, and she tries to run to the door and open the door, but it was locked. So when she finally get it open, he grab her by that Marilyn Monroe wig, and all you see is hear her getting beat up behind that green door. Meanwhile, Baloney Tony is in jail, and he's feeling a little salty that he in jail for something he didn't do, because they booked him for soliciting. And then Sexual Chocolate come to pick him up, and then that little officer smiling saying, "Ain't y'all a cute couple?" And he back cussing them out or whatever, and the bartender telling him, "Come on, let's go before we get into some more trouble." Meanwhile, back at the hospital, we see the results of what happened with Candy, and she got beat pretty bad. Unfortunately, it made her look pretty ugly and beat the hell out of her, poor baby. And she looking all black and blue. And the doctor saying, "You pretty lucky you came out this well. Next time it could have been worse." And so she's pretty much salty about what's going on, and she's just upset that she got beat up so bad, and she don't really know what to do or what to say about that. But it is what it is. That's something to go with the line of work that she's in. Meanwhile, we see Sheba baby in the car with the two cops, and she asking why they don't arrest the hookers or whatever in the daytime, and they saying, "Well, the timing is off, because if we get them at the end of the night, then we have to get overtime, which is something that we can bank and get more benefits and vacation time." And so she's saying, "Oh, well, ain't that something?" And then old boy got a little pissed, the white cop, for her judging him for doing his job. And meanwhile, Vinny is meeting up with Rudy Pipolo and his partner, and then he got Black Frankie with him, and they showing him the place and giving him the keys, and he telling them, "Hey, this is what's gonna go down. It's a massage parlor, and it's up to you how you run it. You hire who you want. All I care is that you make sure the money is straight. You know me, I'm hands off." Meanwhile, we see Sheba baby, Foxy Brown, and she's trying to talk to the cop, trying to get her to go find a pimp for her to interview. And he's saying, "Well, man, these dudes love to hear themselves talk, so that won't be hard. But, I mean, what I'm going to get out of the deal or whatever." And so they kind of smiling and shinning and grinning or whatever and see what's going to work. He trying to squeeze out a booty himself. Meanwhile, Candy, she's trying to put on some makeup and hide them bruises and black eye that she got. and I don't know how much makeup she needs. She gonna need a spackle to put some makeup on to cover that up. And so now we see Larry with Tariq's girlfriend, and he's telling her, "Hey, you just like a ball player. They get traded all the time." And Rodney give him the okay and let him know, "Hey, she good enough. I'll make the trade." So he say, "Hey, this right here is Rodney. You with him now." And Larry walk off, and before he walk off, Rodney ask her name or whatever the case, and then he get the little smile to okay that everything all good, and he out the door now, and now she's stuck with him, and look at Thunder Thighs and Skinny Winnie, and so they talking, and she getting the fro. She say, "I'm Ruby," and Rodney started laughing because he used to calling her Thunder Thighs. He said, "I'm gonna call you Ginger," and so she didn't really like that name, but too damn bad. Meanwhile, back at the massage parlor, Vinny is telling him what to do, and he's saying, "I don't know, you make the building how you want to do," and so he's thinking about how he gonna design the building inside. Meanwhile, the bartender and his friend is at a party, and they going upstairs, and he's saying, "Well, how this party gonna work?" They start popping pills, passing pills to each other, and sucking it on down, start dancing off of that speed and having a good time. Meanwhile, back on the street, Rodney sees that Candy's all beat up, and he feels like this is his moment to recruit her to his team. And he's telling her, "Hey, how you doing? I'm sorry to see what happened to you. That was wrong. Why don't you come be with me, and you won't never have to worry about nobody doing that ever again." And she ain't really trying to hear it. She started walking off, and so he starts coming down hard and telling her, "Hey, man, I'm here for you. This and that. Me and you will run these streets. You wouldn't have to worry about a thing." And he started wiping her eye or whatever and trying to make her feel good, be comforting her and stuff. And he's trying to tell her, "Hey, ain't nobody ever gonna touch you again." And she asking, "Well, how would this benefit me?" He say, "I'll be there for you all the time, no matter what, and you never have to worry about a thing." And so she start crying a little bit and walking off, and then he's saying, "Why you walk around here acting like you better than everybody anyway? Who the hell you think you are?" And so now he start going with the pimp hand real strong and hard, and then he kind of let her know that really you ain't shit, and you down here trying to act like you better than everybody when you ain't. And so he kind of left her looking stupid, and now she just, all her friends and everybody looked at her like, "Damn girl, I don't know how you do it out here by yourself." Meanwhile, the bartender's out here dancing, and then he gets some little Ricky Martin looking ass dude start dancing with him, the little Latin lover, and so they start having a good time and smiling and everything, and one thing led to another, and then they end up going back to their apartment, and they kissing and hugging, and he about to hop onto that pogo stick and try to ride that baloney pony right there that Ricky Martin got. He want to live that Vida Loca, and then his boyfriend comes in. He like, "Oh, sorry if we woke you." He like, "Nah, you didn't wake me." And so then Ricky Martin pops up, pulls out a joint, flames it up, and passes it to the boyfriend. Say, "Why don't you join us? You got a lot of catching up to do." And then Baloney Tony is telling him, "Yeah, it should be all good." And then he starts passing him the jizz on, and he starts to puff pass and everything. And then Baloney Tony start taking off his shirt because he getting all worked up. Next thing you know, they in some type of little threesome, kissing and hugging and all kind of stuff. And we know where that probably led to, the hot dog session. Meanwhile, we see Candy, and she's out there on the street, and she kind of in the daze, and the John pulls over trying to holler at her and get some action, and she ain't really trying to feel him, and so she walks off, and he start cussing her out, thinking, "Who the hell you think you are? You ain't better than me." And meanwhile, back at the barbershop, we see Officer Goodfro talking to Reggie Love, aka Cat Williams' daddy, and so he's where he got that perm from, and he's telling him about the pipes at Motown, and that's where he said the genius of the race is where Richie had, how black people make a dime out of dollar because we ain't had no choice. And so Officer Goodfro say, "Hey man, she want to ask you some questions," and he say, "Shit, she want to ask me some questions. She better be ready to write a book." Meanwhile, we see Skeletor sneaking in the room while her girl is in there with a John, and she going through his wallet, stealing his money and everything, because she's so slim she can sneak in and out of cracks quick. And old girl is saying, "Yeah, daddy, yeah, yeah, yeah," making him feel like he the lover of the year while he bouncing up and down on her. Meanwhile, her girl was stealing money. And as soon as he done, he didn't even get a chance to slap off his love glove before they was pretty much running game on him. He didn't know what hit him. Meanwhile, back on the street, we see Thunder Thighs taking, Tariq girlfriend to training, a whole training class, and letting her know, make sure you get the money first, or it's gonna be trouble, trouble. And so she making sure that she get the money. Meanwhile, Abby walked by and they like, "Hey, Abby, what's up? This is such and such. She just came in town with Darlene." And she like, "Oh, well, how's Darlene doing back home?" She like, "Darlene ain't back home. She up here with me." So now Abby looking stupid for some reason. Meanwhile, we see Ashley and she feeling all happy. She got money for her man and she coming to bring money to Cece, let him know everything cool. And meanwhile, Cece and Lori are talking, and she looking all scared and shook up, and she's saying, "What's wrong with her?" He say, "I don't know. I ain't had a chance to find out. I ain't even counted down yet. I need some time alone." And meanwhile, back at the bar, the other bartender saying, "How come Abby don't have to wear the leotard no more?" He say, "Look, that's the uniform. You gotta wear it." And then he tells Abby, "You too. Make sure you wear it." She like, "Oh yeah." And I guess she think that she done gave him a little cootie cat, she don't have to do what she need to do no more. And she walk off. And Vince getting a little pissed right now. And now she's over there fixing drinks because she see that Darlene and her girls just walked in, so she goes over there to go clean the table off like she mad, like she gonna check somebody. And Darlene, talking to her friend, ain't even give her the courtesy to look at her, so she just stands there over her shoulder while Darlene is talking. And so she says, "Hey Darlene, how you doing?" And so Darlene kind of give her the glance like, "I'm good," and then turn back to talking or whatever. And so she cleans the table off and walk off. And I don't know what's her problem, like why she looking stupid. Darlene didn't say, "Can you get me a bus ticket? I want to get out of here." She just did it on her own, so that's her own damn fault. Mind your business and stay in your role. Why you trying to send her home and get her out the life? Like you want to be the Captain Save-A-Hole now too? I mean, what the hell's up with that? Anyway, she goes back to the bar and she trying to confess to Ashley or whatever, and Ashley laughing, saying, "What the hell? She did leave and now she back. What the hell? What's your problem?" She like, "I thought she wanted to get out of this." She like, "Didn't your daddy pay for everything for you? Ain't no difference between daddies, teachers, and pimps. They all the same. At least pimps is up front with it." Meanwhile, Angela Davis, she's out there trying to get some interview and material from Reggie Love. And Reggie Love saying, "Hey, I thought you was with a major newspaper. I don't play in the minor leagues." And so now Officer Goodfro leaves her alone with him. And he's saying, "First thing first, I need my fee." And so she gives him $40. And she says, "Is that the first rule of pimping?" He said, "No, the first rule of pimping is always look a man in his eye." Meanwhile, the officers, the good fellas, are sitting in the car. Officer Goodfro and his partner, when the Karate Kid and his partner roll up and throw him an envelope of money and saying the payola's back in effect. Make sure you all keep an eye out or whatever the case. And so they pull off, and then the officer partner Goodfro is saying, "You want to go out for steak?" He say, "Hey, I already got a dinner date." And he thinking about Super Fro Angela Davis over there. Meanwhile, we see Candy, and she's talking to the porn star producer, and she's saying, "Hey, I want to get in. What does it take?" And he's saying, "Oh, okay, you finally came around." She's saying, "Yeah, I'm ready." He said, "Well, it looked like you need a little time, so come back in 2 weeks, and then we can get started." Meanwhile, we see that the rub me down spot is starting to come together, and then Vinny comes by to check it out, and he's showing them all the stuff he did with the counter and the back rooms and everything and the beds, and he's saying, "Hey, we got it set up so that everything is under control and that everything it pays to go with the union because the work is done perfectly." And so now Vinny's thinking, "Hey, maybe this ain't too bad. This is all coming together." I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Follow me on www.patreon.com/JMoreReviews, where a small donation of just $1 can help me to continue to create content full time and expand my channel. I can do more reviews on more subjects and work full time providing the content that we all know and love. Also, I have some nice rewards for those who donate and support me the most. It's pretty cool. It's got a lot of good things going on, so at least check it out. Also, follow me at Twitter at jstradamus78. Hit me up on Facebook at jmorereviews. Hit me up on Instagram at j_more_reviews. And also, if you got any questions or anything, email me at jmorereviews@gmail.com. Also, enjoy these other videos that I made. You may find some oldies but goodies that you enjoyed watching. You may see a subject that I talked about that you missed, or you may see something about a video or a show that you didn't know I talked about that, hey, you may find that you enjoyed. Nevertheless, thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, share, like, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.